Hello everybody and welcome. This is the Shy Hat, that's me, and we're doing HackerFrogs After School Linux OS operations today. This is the second in a series of 5 workshops that we're doing for Linux OS operations. So we started last week going over some very basic commands of Linux, and now we're going to be continuing that journey. So without further ado, let's get into what we learned last week. We'll do a little recap of what we learned last week, and then we're going to be moving on into the main portion of today's workshop, where we're going to be learning more about Linux commands. All right, so let's go. Okay, so this is the second Intro Linux OS Operations workshop, and in the previous workshop, we learned about the following Linux commands. We learned the ls command. The ls command lists the files and directories in the current directory. It can be combined with the -l argument to output in a list format, and with the -a argument to include hidden files and directories in the output. These two arguments can be combined to produce both outputs. For example, -la. So we see here that when we use the ls-la Linux command, we see that we see all of the hidden directories inside of this directory, as well as the other files listed over here. And this is in a list format. And we also see some additional information, such as the file owners over here, the size of the file, and when the file was last modified. So this information is all available through the -l and the -a flags. All right, so what other command did we learn? We also learned about the cat command. The cat command lists the contents of a file. The name of the file to be read must be supplied as an argument to the command. So here we can cat example.txt. So people often ask, why is the term cat? Why is it the cat command that reads files? It's short for a more unusual word, which is called concatenate, and concatenate means to add something to the output. In this case, the contents of a file. Okay, so we see Benita Bethel, hello from YouTube, and welcome. Benita, could you remind me in chat which organization you're with? Are you with Black Girls Hack or Women's Society for Cyberjutsu? Because I need to take attendance here, so everybody who's in chat currently, if you could just give a little shout out with the name of the organization that you're with, it would really help me, because I need to keep track of the attendance for these workshops. Okay, so I'll be writing Benita's name into my attendance sheet. And let's see, Cybersako, hello to you as well. Which organization are you with? Are you with the BGH or WSC? If you could let me know in the chat, that would be a great help to me. Anybody else in the chat, please tell me which organization you're with, because I'm trying to keep track of which organization is attending these workshops. I see you, Katrina H. Thank you very much, and let's see. And I see you, only good vibes. All right. I think that's everybody in chat so far. But thank you very much for coming and attending today's workshop. And I see Cyber Diva. I also see Cybersako. There are two major groups of people who are attending these workshops. There are people from the Black Girls Hack organization and people from the Women's Society for Cyberjutsu organization. If you are not part of either of those organizations, you can still participate. It's fine. I just want to know who is here from those organizations, so I can report attendance back to those groups. All right, so let's. So I would assume that Cybersako is not with either of those groups. That's perfectly fine. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's continue. Sorry about that interruption, everybody. So we're looking at the cat command. So whenever you want to read something, you use cat and then the name of the file that you're looking at. We also looked at the echo command. The echo command creates output based on whichever argument is supplied to it. It's very useful for creating output for redirection. Kaoru747, I see you, and I'm going to take down your name for attendance. Thank you very much. All right, so you see here you can echo out whatever we want, and we can also redirect this this echo output into a file over here with these greater than symbols over here. Okay, so we also learned about output redirection. So if anybody is new to the chat, if you could just type in chat which group that you're here with. If you're with Black Girls Hack or Women's Society for Cyber Jitsu, please type that in the chat so I can take attendance. Thank you very much, everybody. Nick Lynn 22, I see you. Thank you very much. All right, so we also learned about output redirection. So anytime we do something inside of Linux, we can redirect the output from that command into either another command or into a file. So in the previous workshop, we redirected output from our echo command into a file called Bandit Pass to keep track of the passwords for the Bandit CTF game. Okay, so. And that's exactly what I said right here. And we also used the cd command. The cd command is another very common and very useful command inside of Linux. And what it does is that it changes the current directory to the one specified. So the new directory must be supplied as an argument to the command. For example, if we wanted to change our directory over to the downloads directory, we would do cd downloads. So we start off in our home directory over here in this example, and then we use cd to change over to example, and then we see in the new prompt here, we see that we're inside the example directory. All right, we also use the pwd command. Pwd stands for present working directory, and it's going to output the name of the directory that we're currently in. So if we use pwd, then the Linux system is going to show us which directory we're in. Okay, so let's continue where we left off. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our command line interface terminal and then navigate to the following URL in a web browser. What I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the link that we're going to be looking at in the chat. You can all navigate to that web page. But what we need to do is we need to also open up our CLI terminals. So if anybody here doesn't know how to open up a CLI terminal, I'll demonstrate how to do so on a Windows machine. If anybody here is not using Windows, if you're using Mac OS, for example, I do believe what you need to do is you need to go to the Finder and then type in the word terminal, and that's how you open up your CLI terminal inside of Mac OS. So for Windows, you can just go to the search bar and then type in the word CMD. If you type in CMD, the first thing that should appear is this program right here called Command Prompt. So Command Prompt, just click on that, and then your command prompt is going to open up like this. Okay, so everybody, if you manage to open up your CLI terminal inside of your computer, whether it's a Windows machine or a Mac OS machine, please type in terminal open in chat. And add some smileys. I always like to see more smileys in chat. Thank you very much, everybody. Okay. All right, so Nicklin22, I see Flatten Now. Flatten Now. If you could tell me, Flatten Now, which organization you're with. If you're with Black Girls Hack or Women's Society for Cyber Jitsu, please type that in the chat. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue on with the the Bandit CTF game. And if you remember from last time, so inside of Windows, you can use the dir command to get the contents of your directory. And so let's see. So flatten now is with, okay, all right, I'm going to record that. So inside of Windows, you use slightly different terminal commands than you do inside of Linux. So for Windows, for example, you can use dir to get the different contents of the directory. And inside the directory, you should see that there's a, if you are recording the passwords in the Bandit pass file, you should have this file right here, and you can get the contents of that command by using the type command in Windows. So in Windows, you use type, and in Linux, you use the cat command. So if you're on Windows, use type and then Bandit pass. Remember, you can press the tab key to autocomplete the name of a file as long as you type in the first few letters of the file name. So you would do type and then B, and if it's the only file inside the directory that starts with B, it's going to complete the name of the file for you. That's a very handy tool when you're working inside the terminal. So if you were recording the different Bandit CTF passwords, you should have output kind of like this. But if not, we can copy the passwords for the Bandit CTF game for you and then provide them in chat. So I'm going to highlight this and then copy it and then paste it into chat. Okay, so if anybody needs a refresher, it's after you highlight something, you can copy it with Control-C, and you can paste it with Control-V, the Control and C, Control-V on your keyboard. All right, so let's start the lesson by logging into the Bandit level 4. So Bandit level 4, if you remember, is the level that we last left off at. The command is SSH, and then the name of the user we want to access, which is Bandit 4, and then it's going to be the @ symbol, and then it's going to be bandit.labs.overthewire.org, and then we need to supply a port, so -P, and then 2220. So this is the command we're going to use to access the next level of Bandit. To anybody who finds this a bit confusing, I'm going to copy this command and supply it in chat for everybody, just in case you need to paste it in. So if anybody's having trouble with their CLI terminal, please type in chat that you're having trouble, and we'll try to get you settled. Karu747 says, I did everything in the web-based Linux and not my Windows PC, so I don't have that file. Well, that's fine, because we're going to be providing the passwords to everybody in the chat, so you don't need to worry about that. So to anybody who's having trouble opening up their terminal inside of the computer, you can also access it from a web-based terminal, this one called JS Linux. And I'm going to open it up over here, and I'm going to provide everybody with a link to that. So this is a web version of Linux that you can access, and you can also use this to access the Bandit CTF game. So I'm going to provide the chat to that in chat. So if you need to use it, the link is right there. All right. So for everybody else. So we're here at the command prompt, and we're using SSH to get into Bandit level 4 over here with this command. So press enter, and then it's going to ask us Bandit 4 labs, type in the password. Okay, so a rich 457, thank you very much for the Twitch follow. All right, so when prompted for the password, you can copy the password right here, and then paste in the password with Control-V and get in that way. Okay, Flatten now says, I'm in. All right, so everybody, if you managed to log into Bandit 4, please type 444 in chat. Otherwise, if you're having trouble, please type that in chat and we'll try to help you out. So let's see what's inside this directory, ls-la. Okay, Nicklin is in, Flatten Now is in. All right, so while we're waiting for everybody to log into Bandit level 4, let's look at the objectives for this level right here. So that's going to be over at the Overthewire Bandit webpage that Benedicto asks, can you share the password? Okay, let's get the password and share it. So it's this one right here. Copy paste. There you go. Okay, so let's look at the objectives for this level here. So it says level goal. The password for the next level is stored in the only human readable file in the in here directory. There's also a tip here. If your terminal is messed up, try the reset command. Okay, so let's take a look at the concepts we're going to use to solve this level. So we're talking about we're talking about files a lot inside of Linux, but did you know that there's also a file Linux command? So this one is called the file command, and it identifies the type of contents for a specified file. The file name must be supplied as an argument to the command. For example, file picture.jpg. So for example, if we were to use the file command on this example file .txt, it would say that this is made of ASCII text. So another thing that we need to know about in this level here is that, there are sometimes files are not the contents of files are not human readable text, and let's demonstrate inside of the terminal over here. So remember, everybody, to get inside of a directory, for example, we need to go into the in here directory. We would use the cd command. So it's cd change directory in here. So after you input that command, we see that we are inside of the in here directory, and we can confirm that with the pwd command. And it says that we're inside of home bandit 4 in here. So So one of the reflexive actions that I usually take after I get into a new Linux directory is I just do the ls-la to get the contents of the directory. So in this case, we have 10 files over here. File 0 -file 00 all the way up to -file 09. Okay, so if we were to try to read one of these files, and remember, if you want to read a file that has a special character at the beginning of the file, you have to do this syntax right here. It's // to refer to the current directory. So, and then it's file 00. So if we were to read this first file over here, then we see that this is a bunch of junk, and we can't really read that. And if we use so I'm going to clear now, and that's going to reset my terminal so that it goes back up to the top. So we see that there was no human readable text inside of that file. And if we were to use the file command on it, it would say that for this particular file, the content is data. So there's a dichotomy of human readable ASCII text and machine readable data. So the contents of this file isn't meant for people to read, but for machines to read. That's what data means in this case. So we're going to use the file. So if we were to try to run this file command on all of these files, it would be a bit tedious. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little shortcut to read the contents of all these files at once to figure out which file has the ASCII text inside of it. So we can do the file command, and then we can do // and then we can use the star. And inside of Linux, the star means every file in every directory inside of this directory here. So this basically means so the star basically means every file inside of here. So we can run this command and it should give us whether it's data or ASCII text for all of these files in here. So let's run that command. So after we run that command, we see that the file command has been run on everything here, and that the only file inside this directory that has ASCII text is this file right here, which is file 7. So another useful command, So another useful thing inside of Linux is basically when you have a file that is kind of long and you don't want to type it out in its entirety, what you can do is just highlight this and copy it. So this is the file we're looking for. We can copy it with the Control-Shift-C to copy it, and then we can do Control-V to paste it. So we want to cat this file, and then we want to paste in the file, and that's all we need to do to read this. And this is the password for the next level. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'll provide it to chat, just in case there are people that are just following along, that are just watching and not following along, or if there are people following along and want to use this password, there you go. All right, so an important thing to do after each one of these levels is finished is you want to exit out of the level. So after you're done here, you need to use the exit command to get out of here. And you know that you're no longer inside of the Bandit game when you no longer see the green text, Bandit 4 at Bandit, and instead you see your regular user prompt right here. All right, so now that we have the password for the next level, Bandit level 5, we're going to copy this to our Bandit pass file. So we see we have got this Bandit pass file right here. Let's copy the password to the next level. So it's going to be echo, and this is Bandit 5. So echo B5, and then paste in the password with Control V, and then use the double greater than symbols right here, and then banditpass.txt. So what this is going to do is it's going to add this line to the Bandit pass file so that we can keep track of the different passwords. All right. And for this, I'll copy this to chat just in case you want to use it. Okay. All right. So everybody, if you finished, okay. Sorry. Let's log into the next level before we move on. So everybody, let's try to log into the next level. Remember that inside of the terminal, you can use the up and down arrow keys to retrieve the previous commands you did inside of the terminal. This is known as terminal history, I think, but it's a very useful way to repeat commands that you used previously. So we used SSH to log into the last level. What we can do is just go up and down until we see that SSH command, and then use the left and right arrow keys. And what we're going to do is we're going to edit this so that we're going into Bandit 5 instead of Bandit 4. And we can just repeat this command right here after we edit it. Okay, it's asking for the password. I'm going to copy this password and then paste it in. Okay, and now we're logged in. Okay, so everybody, if you managed to log into Bandit level 5, please type 545 in the chat. And if you're having trouble, please type in the chat that you're having trouble, and we'll try to give you a hand. Okay, Nicklin is in. And while we're waiting for everybody to log in, let's take a look at the requirements for the next level inside the web page. So inside the web page here, we're going to do level 5 to level 6, this link right here. And and a rich 457. Okay, so I'm going to record your attendance. Thank you very much, a rich 457. Okay, so this is Bandit level 5 to level 6. And what is the level goal? The password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in here directory and has all of the following properties. It is human readable, a rich 457. We're using the password that starts with LRL. That's the password we're using for Bandit level 5. So the file that we're looking for is going to be human readable, 1033 bytes in size, and not executable. So what are we talking about in this case? So I'm going to introduce a very useful Linux command for doing file search, and this command is the find command. Let's learn a little bit more about it over here. So we're talking about the find command. The find command allows a search of files or directories in a file system and matches files in the output according to the criteria provided by the command arguments. The arguments -type searches by file or directories, and the argument -size searches for files of a particular size. So the find command is a very, very commonly used command, and let's take a look. So we're going to be using a very long find command to complete this level. And before we demonstrate, let's talk about the different parts of this command, because there are a lot of different parts to this particular command, and it's a bit confusing if you're new to this. But let's point out what these different parts of the find command are doing. Okay, so part 1 here is the find command itself, and the location to be searched is next. So in this case, the location is the slash, and the slash by itself means the entire file system. So this find command is going to target the entire file system. And number 3 is the type of data to be returned, either a file or directory. In this case, it's going to be -type F, which means we're looking for a file. And number 4 is the file / user ownership. It's going to be, I'm sorry, everybody. These are the criteria for another level. Let's go back to the terminal and let's work through this now. Okay, so if you take a look at the contents of the in here directory, we can navigate into it with the cd command in here, and then we do ls/la to see what's in here. And there's a bunch of different directories in here. In this maybe here directories 0 to 20, and if we were to take a look inside of those directories, we see that there's a bunch of files in each one of these directories here. Okay, so Only Good Vibes is in. Congratulations. Okay, so we see here that trying to look through each one of these files is going to be very time consuming, very tedious. So we're going to use the find command to look for the exact match for this file. So let's start off with find, and then where we're looking for our file, we're going to do the entire file system over here with slash, and then we're going to look for -type, and so we're looking for either F, a file, or D, a directory, looking for a file. And then we're going to do -size. We're looking for a file of a certain size. So, and let's see what the size requirement is. Oops, over here. So it's 1033 bytes in size. Okay, so that would be 1033C. So the suffix they use for bytes inside the find command is C for bytes. So we're going to do 1033C for bytes. And we're also going to, so if we input this command, we should find what we're looking for. And let me copy this to chat to everybody too, so everybody can use it if they like. So the thing is that there are a lot of files that we don't have access to on the system. So we're going to get a lot of these permission denied messages over here, but there's a way to get around that. So we can use the same command, press up in the up arrow key to get the last command, but we're also going to take any of the error messages and we're going to set it so that they don't show up. So we can do 2 and then greater than and then slash and then dev slash null. So this little part of the command here is going to tell Linux not to show any error messages and to instead basically throw them in the trash can. Okay, so if we rerun that with this particular part over here, 2 greater than slash dev slash null, then our output is going to be much cleaner. Okay, so among the results over here is this one over here that is inside of our directory. So bandit 5 in here, maybe here 07.file2. Okay, so now that we found this, we can just highlight it and then copy it. So Control C, so if Control C doesn't work, you could try Control Shift C. Sometimes the terminals use different keyboard shortcuts. So what we would do is type cat and then paste in the file location. So Control Shift V, and then we can read this file. Okay, so inside the file, there is this string right here. This is the string we're working for. So copy it over, and I'll provide it in the chat. Okay, so this is the password for the next level. Okay, so remember at the end of each level you need to exit. So give the exit command, and it'll say connection to bandit.labs.overthewire.org is closed, and you will see your original user prompt. Okay, Nicklin22 asks, how did you know to look into that file? So the criteria for this, the level goal for this particular level said, the password for the next level is stored in the in here directory and has the following properties. So human readable, 1033 bytes in size, not executable. So when we use the find command, over here with this criteria right here, so a few other files showed up, but there's only one file that is in the in here directory. And so we know that that was the one that we're looking for. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so let's use our echo command like we did in the previous examples to copy over the password for bandit level 6. So you can use the terminal history up and down, and then go back to your echo command, and then edit the command so that it has the proper number and the proper password, and then execute this, and then it's going to copy over to the banditpass.txt file. If you type in, if you use the, so remember, when we're inside of the Bandit CTF, we're using Linux. But if your host computer is a Windows computer, inside of the Windows terminal, if you're not logged into Linux, then you're using the Windows commands. And the Windows command to read a file is the type command. So if you're using if you're keeping track of if you're adding to the bandit pass file like we have been, then your file should look like something like this. Okay, so let's try logging into bandit level 6. So everybody try logging into bandit level 6. If you successfully log into bandit level 6, please type in chat 666 is the devil's number and some smileys. Okay, so with that said, let's try to log into bandit level 6. Remember, we can just pull up the previous SSH command, and then we can edit it so that it says bandit level 6. And then try to log in. And remember to provide the bandit level 6 password. Okay, so flat now and Nicklin22 666 is the devil's number. All right, so we're in. It's bandit level 6. So let's take a look at the level goals for this level right here. So bandit level 6. We go back to the web page, and we can click on this link right here that says level 6 to level 7. Okay, so this one once again says the password for the next level is stored somewhere on the server and has all of the following properties. So it is owned by user bandit 7, it is owned by group bandit 6, and it is 33 bytes in size. So this is a slightly more difficult version of the last level because in the last level we're looking inside of a specific directory, the in here directory, and in this case it's stored somewhere on the server, which means we're dealing with the entire file system. All right, so, but since we know how to use the find command, we can easily find this file because we know that it's owned by user bandit 6. Oh, sorry, user bandit 7, and it's owned by group bandit 6. So let's. So this one is a slightly more complicated find command, but we can certainly do this inside of our terminal. All right, so going back. Remember, it's going to be find and then slash, and then it's going to be type. We're looking for a file, so dash type F, and then dash size. We're looking for something that is 33 bytes in size, so that's 33C, and with using the type syntax. And then remember, we're looking for user. So the user is bandit 6. Let me take a look at that criteria again. So user bandit 7 and group bandit 6. So these next two flags are pretty easy to remember. So it's dash user for which user it's owned by. So user is bandit 7, sorry, and then we're looking for a group. And the group that it belongs to is bandit 6. And I think this should be good enough to find the file. So remember, because we don't own everything inside the file system, we're going to need to use this last part over here to make sure that the error messages don't appear in the output. So it's 2 greater than /dev/null. That makes sure that all the error messages go into the garbage. Okay, so I'm going to copy this for the chat to use. All right, so if we run this command, we find that there's only one file that matches all this criteria. So if we were to run ls-la on this file right here, we can highlight this, copy it, and then paste it in. We would see that it fits all the criteria that we're looking for. So hit enter here. We're looking for something that is a file. So over here, it doesn't say D. For directories, it would say D, so this is a file. it says size 33C. We see over in this portion, this is the file size, and we see the user over here is Bandit7, and the group is Bandit6. So this is the file that matches that matches all of our criteria. So let's read that file. So we use the cat command to read the file, and this is the password for the next level. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and paste it in chat. So everybody, if you have any questions about what exactly we're doing inside of the Linux terminal, or if you have any questions about any of the commands we're using, please type your questions in chat, and I'll try to answer and explain the reasoning for the stuff that we're doing as best as I can. And remember, there are no bad questions. There are no bad questions, just bad teachers. No, I don't know. Okay. All right. So this is the password for the next level. Remember, we need to exit out. So make sure that the connection to Bandit Labs is closed, and then we're going to use the echo command to add to our Bandit password file. So this is the last level. The next level is Bandit7, and it's the last level that we're going to be covering tonight. So delete the password over here, and then paste in the proper password. And then we're going to have our password for Bandit level 7 copied over to banditpass.txt. All right, so now let's log into Bandit level 7. If you manage to log into Bandit level 7, please type in chat, 7 is my lucky number. So if you're on Twitch, you can use the frog to get a little frog emoji. Oh, my phone's blowing up. Hold on. I'm going to put it away. Okay, so let's log into Bandit level 7. Rich457 says OS Frog. Okay, so if you're on Twitch, you can also use the OS Frog emote. OSF is all capitalized, and then the ROG is not capitalized. Okay, copy the password, paste it in, and we're logged in. All right, so let's take a look at, that is it. That is the OS Frog. Thank you very much. All right, let's take a look at the level goals for Bandit 7. So Bandit level 7 to level 8. And we see that we've several people logged into Bandit 7. We have Flatten Now, Kawa747, Nicklam22, and Benita Bethel. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, so what are we learning about in this level? We have the level goal. The password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt next to the word millionth over here. All right, so if anybody knows exactly which command we're going to use to solve this level, please type in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to explain what we're going to be doing in this level in just a moment or two. I'll give you a hint. It is included in this list right here. Kawa747 is and Benita Bethel have the answer. Okay. All right. So if you've been around computer stuff for a while, you might have heard the term grep, as in to grep out something or to grep something. It basically means to retrieve a string from a file. or to basically search inside of files for a specified word or string. But oh, Nicklin22. Oh, you thought that we were going to use the words the strings command. I think we could use the strings command to finish this level as well. But we're talking about grep right now. We'll save strings for another time. Maybe in the next workshop we'll be talking about the strings command. This one is also another important command. But so the find command, okay. The grep command. So the grep command is what we use to search inside of files. So it searches within the contents of files for specified strings. So if we're talking about file contents, when we talk about a string, we're talking about a bunch of letters and numbers. They might be words or they might be just random letters and numbers, but we call them strings. It is commonly used to pick out specified words or phrases. So you can basically search inside of files using this command called grep. So the criteria for this level right here is that we're looking for the word millionth, and the password is going to be beside the word millionth inside of the file. And we also have to specify a file to read, in which case it's data.txt, and this is the syntax of the grep file we're going to be using. Okay, so let's go back to the terminal. So inside the terminal, inside of our directory right here, we only have one file. So the file is called data.txt, and if we run the file command on it, file data.txt, we see that it is Unicode text, UTF-8 text. So UTF-8 is another encoding scheme, kind of like ASCII. So ASCII and UTF-8 are both encoding schemes for letters and numbers inside of for computer files. So if we were to read this file normally, cat data.txt to read it, we would see that there's a bunch of different letters and numbers with something that could be a password and just some words over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grep out the word millionth, and then we're going to see which password is beside that word. And that's demonstrating how we use the grep command to do that. So it's going to be grep, and then it's going to be the word million. That's how you spell it, right? And then we're going to specify that we're reading data.txt. So grep millionth data.txt. And if we run this command, we see we get exactly we get exactly the line where the word shows up. So millionth shows up inside of here, and we see that this is the password beside millionth, and this is the password we're looking for. So we're going to copy that, and I just paste it into chat, and that is what we're looking for. So if we were to look for any of these words over here, we could probably find them. So if we were to do not millionth, but maybe something more common. So if we're looking for something like book, then we see all the places inside the file where we see the word book. So that's the grep command. So grep is very commonly used inside of Linux as well. For example, if I wanted to look for if I were to do some cybersecurity stuff, and I was looking for the word password in every file inside the file system, trying to look for vulnerable passwords, I could grep for password inside of the entire file system with this command right here, and I'm going to also throw all of the error messages into the garbage with this portion right here. So if I were to do this, oh, there's nothing here. That's good. That's good. So why don't I look for something more common, like the word file. Am I? I guess the problem here is that this user account, Bandit7, doesn't have access to very much on the file system. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to. All right, so okay, let's get out of here. So we're going to exit. Okay, so our connection to bandit.labs.overthewire is closed now, and we're going to copy this last password into our bandit pass file. Remember, we're using echo, and then we put in the number 8, and then get rid of the password here and replace it with a new password. And then we execute that command. If you've been following along, and we instead of Windows, we read this file right here, we should have this this glorious collection of passwords right here. Okay, everybody. So we're going to be wrapping up the stream pretty soon, but before that, let me grab the links for the surveys for today's lesson. And if anybody here, if you could just once more shout out which organization you're with. If you're with Black Girls Hack or WSC, please type that in the chat one more time so I can get some proper attendance. Okay, so this first link is for everybody with BGH. So if you're with BGH, please use this link right here for the survey. And if you're with WSC, please use this link for the survey. All right, so while everybody is filling out their survey, let's go in and do a review of everything we learned in today's lesson. So let's review the latest commands we learned in today's workshop. So we learned the file command. The file command identifies the type of contents for a specified file. The file name must be supplied as an argument to the file command. This is useful for Benita Bethel is associated with both. Well, that's very useful to know. Thank you very much. All right, so the file command is useful for identifying what kind of file something is. So usually we can tell what a file is by the file extension. So .jpeg is going to be a picture file, .txt is going to be a text file, but sometimes we need to run this command to really clarify what the file contents are. Let's see, WSC, I thought you said WICYS. I thought those two were the same organization. Are they not the same organization? Okay, so we also learned about the find command. The find command is used to search for files on the system. It can be used with many different arguments and flags to refine the search parameters. So the find command, we used that a couple of times in today's workshop, and it was very useful for finding very specific files on a file system. The grep command searches within the contents of files for specified strings. Benita Bethel says that they are different. Okay, so I'm going to do some research about how they are not the same in the future, because I need to get that right. But thank you very much for pointing that out, for bringing that to my attention. Okay, so the grep command searches within the contents of files for specified strings. It is very commonly used to pick out specific words or phrases. So when using the find and grep commands, grep is more commonly used inside of Linux, but find is also used as well. Okay, so what's next? In the next HackerFrogs After School Linux OS workshop, we're not going to be switching up gears. We're going to be doing our last workshop with the Bandit CTF. This is for the next one. I seem to have mixed up my presentation, but let's to anybody who wants to do some extra practice, we're going to be holding another workshop on Wednesday of this week. So that's going to be in a couple days. You see here, we also have a Reddit for HackerFrogs if you want to keep track of what we're doing for HackerFrogs. So inside of the Reddit here, you can see that on Wednesday, May 8th, we're going to have another extra credit session. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the CecoPTF platform, which is a great platform for learning about cybersecurity skills. And we're going to be solving a bunch of challenges using the Linux commands that we learned today, and maybe some of the commands that we learned previously. We're going to be building up. It's a fun time. You're also going, if you do all of the extra credit workshops, you're going to be very familiar with working inside the Linux terminal. And that's going to help you level up your Linux skills faster. So once again, HackerFrogs is on Reddit. If you want to post on the HackerFrogs Reddit, there's a bunch of different posts on how to help yourself out as far as beginner resources are concerned. For example, this post is right here is talking about Python language education sources, and I've got a bunch of different links in there. And let's see, if people wanted to learn about low-level programming, I've got a bunch of links for resources in this post right here. And we're going to be having another stream on Wednesday at the same time. But if you can't attend that one, we're going to be doing the main HackerFrogs workshop on next Monday. And I hope to see everybody there. It's going to be another fun-filled evening of Linux OS operations. But until then, we'll see you next time. Let's try rating. So everybody who is here on Twitch and has a little bit of free time to go to another person's stream, the Twitch raid is a very fun way to discover new streamers. And if you're down with it, let's raid another streamer who is also doing coding and cybersecurity stuff. Okay, another streamer I like to watch is SnowXCone, and she does a lot of co-working, and she also does coding on her stream as well as chatting. So if you're willing to come and raid with us, I would really appreciate it. Tell her that that Shy Hat sent you. But until next week, everybody, have a great time. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Both are free. Oh, Hot, thank you so much for rating. Oh, Hot, hello. Hi. Were you doing cybersecurity co-working? Thank you so much, Hot, and thank you, Chevy, for shouting that out. I appreciate it. Bro, you're too nice. Say your broken neck is causing you spine issues. It actually is. And you need a whole new ergonomic chair, then get yourself a Herman Miller. Oh, ABC, Clarissa, you're right. You're so right. Maybe I need to, but they told me, guys,